Hello and welcome back to another Warcraft speculation video. This time it's going to be about Naga as a playable race, and this really takes us to at least towards the end of our speculation sort of season. It's 2 AM the morning before BlizzCon, so yeah, I'm definitely running a little bit close in this one. Now in this video I'm going to cover what I think, what they're like in-game, and then the lore of their race. So as for what I think, honestly I don't think they're that likely for this expansion. Now I'd say in the South Seas expansion set, we will probably get Naga, but right now, I just don't think they make sense. While the Naga did leave Azeroth with Illidan, they have largely been dealt with. We killed Lady Vash and her followers, so really, if it was, I just don't really see how they would be there. Anyway, let's talk about the Naga in-game. So, as far as classes go, they fit warriors really well. As for paladins, I don't think they really fit in my head, though I could see Blizzard finding a way of sneaking them in, and the same goes for Death Knights. Often, if there's a race which chronologically doesn't fit Death Knights, they put it in anyway for gameplay reasons. I think Hunters could probably work, although Pets might be inherently a bit distrustful of Naga, and Shamans may be able to work via, once again, Blizzard sort of lore, jiggery-pokery kind of stuff. I think Rogues would be really cool, and Monks and Druids could work. There's no particular reason why they fit, but there's no particular reason why they don't fit, and that's usually enough for Blizzard to give them the class. Now, Priests could work via some lore skullduggery with maybe a faction of them turning to the light, and Mages are obviously a perfect fit, and Warlocks could work quite well as well, in my opinion. Now, as for introducing them into the game, I don't think it's going to happen in Warlords of Draenor. There isn't much sense to do it. If we go back in time, then it will be before the Naga even came to Draenor, and if we go to the present day, it won't matter because the Naga will have been killed, and if we go to Argus, there will be no damn Naga because they're not on that planet. They could be introduced in the South Seas expansion though, and Metzen did say that he wanted Nagas and Ogres to eventually be playable. However, this was some time ago. I'd speculate that perhaps we could get Ogres in this expansion, maybe, and then Naga in the next expansion in the South Seas one. Anyway, let's talk about the lore of this race. So, the Naga were once known as the Highborn in the pre-Shattering times, and they used a lot of magic via the Well of Eternity. And they were essentially elves, basically. The Highborn were the magic-using upper classes of the elves, and they used so much magic that the Burning Legion took notice of Azeroth and started to attack it. They wanted to invade it for the Well of Eternity, which was a source of tremendous power. And while the Night Elves did defend the planet successfully, the implosion of the Well of Eternity sank the Highborn capital into the bottom of the sea. Their queen Ashara quickly formed a pact with the old gods to allow them to survive the water, and when they awoke they were changed into the Naga form, and this change really just increased in severity as time went on with the corrupting power of the old gods and the residual energy of the Well of Eternity. So once they awoke, they decided they needed a city, and they built an underwater city called Nazjatar. It's described as being ginormous and a very dark, evil, chaotic kind of place. Now, most of the Naga were content to sit around the place and wait to exact their revenge upon the Night Elves. Obviously, the Night Elves and the Highborn had a lot of racial tension, and this just got exacerbated. And then post Well of Eternity, of course, the Night Elves, and rightly so, blamed the High Elves for what had happened. So really, there's a lot of hatred, or not the High Elves, the Highborn. There's a lot of hatred between the two. Now, however, a group did actually break out a little bit early under the command of Lady Vash, and they formed a pact with Illidan to aid him, and this is why we see the Naga in Outland. However, they have been, for the most part, killed. Now, in WoW times, the Naga started to appear in the coastlines, but they were never really in massive numbers. They did appear in some dungeons and things like that, but once again, not ginormous in terms of lore significance. Also in Cataclysm, they heavily feature Vashir, they heavily feature in Vashir, in which they manage to subdue Neptulon via using Ozmat, who is a giant big sea creature. And they seem to be following the will of the old god N'Zoth, and that's essentially it. These are old god-driven species. And for that very specific lore reason, these guys are going to be one of the antagonists in the South Seas expansion. And if they were introduced, it would be similar to the way that the Draenei are to the Eredar, where there's an offshoot of Naga who have seen the error of the ways of their predecessors, and maybe they want to seek redemption for what they have done, so they maybe turn to the light, thus allowing us to have paladins and priests and that sort of thing, and then they'd be able to be a playable race. I'm not too sure if there's no reason why they couldn't go Alliance and Horde, though the Alliance may be initially a little bit distrusting. However, I could imagine, say, if they were strong in their faith of the light, then the Prophet Velen might find a way to sneak them into the Alliance. At any rate, that's essentially the video for the Naga done. I'm sorry it's not as long as some of the other ones, it's really late, and I need to do BlizzCon tomorrow. So anyway, that's it. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you liked it, please hit that like button. It really helps me out. And if you want to subscribe, I'd very much appreciate it. And with that, I'll see you all next time.